So, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, my time, Eastern Europe time. Hello again, and thanks for being with us on our live event with the topic Feel the Light using Corona and Vray. Today we will spend together 30-40 minutes and I will show you some of the newest tools and tricks in Corona and Vray. But before we jumping in the technical side of our presentation, I would like to present myself and the company I am leading, also the team. My name is Calvin. I'm the founder of Crafting Studio, and this is my team. We are based in Bulgaria, and we're providing 3D architecture services all around the globe. We have clients here in Europe also, and Australia, United States, and so on. So probably you know already that Vray is born in Bulgaria, in the capital city, 2 kilometers from our office is the headquarters of Chaos Group. But today we are not talking mainly about Vray, we will talk about also Corona. And as you probably know, on the last event in Vienna, the guys announced that they started working together, and with their collaboration probably we can expect something amazing, I hope. Today's topic is about the light. Why I choose the light? Because this is the major thing each render engine is working on about, and these are still some of the images of our portfolio images made using Vray with post-production and so on. So let's jump on the topic again, and let's start with the definition of the lights. As you know, the physical definition of the light is, as far as we know, of course, it's particles and waves in the same time and so on. So each render engine is dedicated to do some calculation connected with the light and how the light is bouncing around the space. But let's talk about some of the contents, and let's go steps backward in the history, and let's find out how the masters involved the light in their masterpieces. As you know, probably some of the great artists like Vermeer, light is always presenting in his paintings, and with the help of light he's putting nice accent of the activities and on the personality in the images. The same approach we can see also on the Rembrandt. You see dramatic skies, some dark part of the image on the right side, and the light just bouncing from the left, which is putting nice accent of the trees in the image and so on. So the light is something like active person in our images, not just some tool or object without spirit, let's say. The light is also, I would say, the major actor in our scene, because the light is actually creating the mood in each project we would like to present, and actually the mood is the tool which help us to sell our products, or at least to present in the best way. So without the mood, we're just having some objects without story behind. These are some of the masterpieces I'm showing you right now. They use the light very active in their paintings, just to maintain the major actors, and so with the help of light we can understand what's going on in the painting. So the same we can recognize again as approach in the Russian classic paintings also. The color coming with the light can tell us which time of the year it is, and so on. We can divide even one image in different parts according to the light just spraying with it, and more examples with the major personality of the light and as active tool. You see the dramatic sky on the left image, also the winter atmosphere on the right, still the Russian classic paintings, and so on until today we jump on the professional photographer, and some of the great one is Steve McCurry, which is well known with his paintings all around the globe in different parts in Africa and so on. So as you know, the professional photographers, I call them they are like hunters chasing the light, and they try to hunt actually the best piece of some kind of activities, and in most of the cases they need to make thousands of shots until they choose the perfect one. Comparing to them, actually we the 3D artists, we have the freedom to create each environment we would like to present. We have all the necessary tools in our 3D softwares we're using, like 3D Max and so on. Here are still some examples of Steve McCurry and his masterpieces. Person running, light is coming from the back, and how I said, the photographers are chasing the perfect moment, and actually the famous photographers, they become famous because of that reason, that they just capture the right moment with the right mood and light, also with the perfect proportion and so on. Light is helping us to maintain some of the major object in our scene and to focus our attention on what's going on actually on the image we are watching. So again, still his pictures, light on the back, also there is some nice bouncing on the forward of the image. Another great photographer, Michael Kenner, he became famous with his black-white photography and the symmetry in his images. He's also master in catching the light. As you see, we have one main object in center point of the image, light which is presenting the mood, and also the proportion of the image, the great symmetry he's using also, and so on. Of course, we need to remain the Gregory Knudsen, who is real master in the way of using light in his work. The thing how he is actually creating his scene is well known in the photographer scene. he's using huge amount of tools, like he's using whole trucks just for placing the tools on the shooting place, and he's spending days just for waiting for the perfect environment light. And actually his scenario can involve the whole city and the whole street, as you see on that image, for example. And each piece of light is produced and preliminary is designed before it has been shooted. So again, light and color in the images always helping us just to perceive the right mood and to understand what is the scenario and what's going on in the image. This is footage of, you see the whole scene and the scenario, the people who are involved in just for taking one image for one shot, the right shot. So again, comparing to the real photographers, we have the freedom to create everything just what we want in our 3D softwares. These are some sketches of Gregory Crutzen, who made preliminary design of the tools and installation he's using with the light, major light, secondary light, and so on and so on. There is simple rule behind all the composition of the light, and I will say that it's pretty enough just to use it for each of the images. First and foremost is to use a key light, which is the major light in our scene. Fill light in the most of the cases coming 45 degrees from the key light, and backlight coming from the back side. And these are some of the examples of famous movies, how the light is working with the fill light in this example, for example in backlight without key light in that shot. Here's another sketch of where the person, the object who's being shooted is standing, and the camera also this 45 degrees I told you about in the backlight. These are three different light shots with the key light, fill light, and backlight, and also there is tons of variety how you can combine all the lights in the scene. On the left side you can see some of the images how these days product shooting, product photography is working, and what is the real equipment the photographers are using for resolving the light and bouncing and catching the right position of what they are shooting on the right side. This is just simple screenshot of 3D Max, and you can recognize the V-Ray planes on the position around the objects and how many lights are needed sometimes just to shoot one image. Another example with the real equipment. So I jump from real equipment, as you see, to our tools we're using daily with the 3D softwares and rendering engines, and I make some of some kind of comparison to what in the reality looks like and how we are doing it. So again, nice example of product visualization for advertising purpose. This is the final image, and on the right side you can see how the sun is coming from the back side There is a flash on the side, key light, and the photographer who is standing on the ground and is waiting for the perfect shot. More examples, and slowly going to another topic which is connected with the cinematography. They in the movies, they're using the same technique, always the same techniques, with key lights, fill light, backlight, and so on. But in that case, we did the example as you see on the image. We can also put some color in light, and just to increase the expression of the activity, what's happening actually in the scene. So Joe Grimes is another great photographer. He's doing advertising photography, and as you see, there is a lot of Photoshop. It's easy to recognize the post-production, but first and foremost is always the footage. These are some of his images with light from both sides, backlight and key lights. Another shot combined for advertising company, probably used by O'Neill, and so on. So now it's time just to jump in the cinematography and to find out how the things are happening in the movies. Of course, we're starting with Tarantino, who is real master in what he's doing, and these are screenshots of an analysis of the light and how the light is working his scene. Inglorious Bastards is this piece of the movie. As you see, two spotlights just leading to the table, and we have just random spraying lights catched by the persons in the scene. Here, as you see, as triangle, the light is spraying from the top to the bottom, and so on. Different kind of analysis and how the light is presenting the activities in the scene. Agent 007, another masterpiece. Here on the bottom right side you see part of the equipment used for some of the scenes, different colors, different approaches of the light. John Wick, another example, how the red light is maintaining the major activity in the scene, and as you see, combined with different colors, we have nice dramatic mood in the scenes. Again, another examples of the movies. In La La Land, which it speaks by itself just for the greatness of the scenario and the footage. Again, light on the back side of the image. And now I just want to share with you some of the things you need to have preliminary and what you need to do first, and that's the mood board. Before you start in creating something, you need to have the right idea, and to generate the things you just want to create and to work on it, you need to discover and make some kind of investigation. And that's why the thing which you need is called mood board. You just can't collect some of images you find in the internet, put it in one sheet and use it for your image further as a reference. So now is the time to jump inside our 3D scenes, and it's time to talk about the reality of our daily job and how we are doing the things by using 3D Max, Vray or Corona. And you see, these are some of the interior examples we've been working on real project, light presenting some of the exterior smooth, interior, another project with a bit cold light of the night and warm light coming outside, inside, from outside inside the building. Another example of the interior with great brightness coming from outside, sunlight going inside the room. Castle with image mood and different color of the lights. Some of product footage and so on. So let's see how it works in Corona. First, the typewriter, as you saw in the image and in the scene itself, looks like this. I just have a couple of lights inside my scene. That's a cylinder, simple rectangle. It's all about Corona light. And once when we hit the interactive render, we can control each of the lights within a scene. The power of Corona, probably as you already know, is this, that you can control everything inside your scene until it's doing the render. And here how it looks, the final render. I have set up here on the right side, this is Corona image editor. I have all my lights on the right side, and after when I'm done once with my render, I still can control the light inside. And this is the great power of Corona, which is called the active or interactive light setup after once your render is done. That actually allows us to generate tons of variety of our images, and we can combine the light. As you see what I'm doing, you can increase the power of the light, you can change the color of the light, the temperature. We have also post-production tools. You can put some blooming glare, use some kind of LUTs which are integrated in the Corona. These are the default presets and so on. Another example, again, I have all my lights inside my scene. Now I just switch off everything and slowly I start one by one just switching on the lights I need for my experiment, and until I get the result I'm searching for. Also you can increase also the density of the light, and I repeat again, everything is just after when your render is done. This is the amazing side of Corona. Something which Vray is still not using, or you need to jump into Nuke software to getting the same results, to getting the same control. Once when your render is done, you can set up the right light combination until you're getting the best result, and to save the preset. Here for example I have that kind of presets, and I can control also the color and the density of the light here, for example on the ceiling. I can increase it also or decrease it and so on. Light in the bedroom, light in the bath. Again, switch off everything and switch on again. And let's try with the moonlight coming from outside and just pushing in the direction until we're getting the nice accent light. And always you need to remember just for not combining the different kinds of lights in your scene, to not crossing it over. This is extremely important during your lighting workout and so on. This is my castle example. I have also lighting preset which I have saved here, and here how it looks with all the light inside. I have night light coming from the back side and all the rest inside, the candle, the pendle light, the light coming from the windows. And again, you can change everything, the density and the color and so on, until you're getting a couple of options you can provide to your clients, and pretty quick you can get nice results which give us really big freedom to be more focused on the artistical side. The things in V-Ray looks a bit different. So with the newest version of V-Ray, they put some play button on the frame buffer, and until it's actually doing the interactive rendering, which we well know from Corona, here we can control the light by using the V-Ray light lister, for example. Here it is, and we have something pretty similar to the Corona. We can switch off first the light, and again one by one. Now I have exposure light, for example. I'm gonna switch it off again, and one by one we can switch on what we want to see in our scene. For example, here is my ceiling light, and I can choose the color and the density of the light. I can decrease it or increase it. Also, we have subdivision of the light. In V-Ray we have subdivision in quite almost everything, like subdivision of the materials of the light and so on. So here we need to bear in mind always the subdivision of the things inside our scene. That's why they put some setting in the V-Ray itself inside the V-Ray settings. Before we get into the right light in our scene, we need to do some preliminary tests, and these tests we need to do on the so-called clay images. That means that all the objects in our scenes are with the just one material, and on that base we can provide series of renders until we're getting the right light in our scene. Here, for example, I can choose the V-Ray sun, and by moving the sun around the scene, I can change the direction of the sunlight and so on. So as you see, the difference is huge in the interactive render in Corona and Vray. and in the same time the end result, the final result, is quite almost the same, with the difference that in Corona we can still work in our image, in our scene, after once the render is done. This is the big difference. So there is much more things I would like to review, but now is the time just to present you the next masterclass of the series. So this year I had more than 6 masterclasses, and the next one starts on the 27th of September. 2 days with 2 hours per day. You just need to go in your local time and to sign up for the right time for you. There is once in the morning and once in the afternoon, depends on the time where you based actually. And in the masterclass we're going to talk about all the tools and all the combination you can use in our scene. We're going to talk about composition, lighting, post-production, in the final part, settings and renderings, all about the Corona and Vray. I'm gonna explain to you how Corona and Vray works, what are the tiny things around the plugins, what do you actually need to create the best light and mood in your scene, and how to do it in the right way, because there is always right way and it is only one. Everyone is getting to different kinds of results and is always not so much satisfied by the results, and that's why I just want to share in the masterclass how you can save huge amount of time by doing it in the right way using Corona and Vray. Don't hesitate to send me questions. I'm gonna expect your comments, and I'm always available for you. If you have other questions, just let me know. And thanks for being with me in our live webinar.